You're live.
Good morning, and welcome to the International Mastermind Think and Grow Rich show. My name is Galen Bingham. I'm the leadership strategist, and I'm one of the co hosts for this show this morning. And I am really, really excited to be coming to you for a couple of reasons. Number one, I missed you guys. I was attending the annual meeting for the International Mastermind program last week and or a couple weeks ago, and it was just amazing. Number two, we've got an amazing guest to share with you today. We're going to be talking with Jada Williams, and I had an opportunity to meet Jada Williams at that annual meeting, and oh my gosh, are you guys in for a treat? And then I guess lastly, this is the chapter. This is the time when we talk about the principle on desire, and desire is the foundation of this philosophy that we talk to you about every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. So we are so glad that you're riding with us, but we get to start afresh, all brand new. If you've got anyone sitting on your couch in your living room, you need to get them to come in and watch this show because we're getting ready to get started. And I can think of no place better to get started than at the beginning. So this is it. So again, my name is Galen Bingham. I am just one of the co-hosts. I want to introduce all the other co-hosts, but first, let me tell you a little bit about our guest, and then we'll bring her in as well. Jada Williams is the founder of Kis Ls Inc., and KISS stands for Knowledgeable Intangible Solutions, Logistically Speaking. And she basically says, and she's going to talk to you about this, but she just basically helps you kiss your logistical problems goodbye. And as a former retail business owner, I can tell you there are a lot of problems that I just would love to just kiss goodbye. So, outstanding energy, outstanding person, and I can't wait to have you meet her. And then we're going to also have with us Miss Ursula Odom. Miss Ursula Odom is the founder of Sula 2 Publishing. Ursula, say hello just very briefly, and welcome into the conversation.
Good morning. Yes, this is going to be a great day because Jada's here. I know Jada too. She's a firecracker. So I'm so excited about today and combining her energy and drive with the subject of desire. It's going to be good.
Fantastic. And then Dr. Peter James, you are all about shift your mindset. You're certified in absolutely everything having to do with coaching. Welcome to the conversation. And I know you're excited about this conversation with Ms. Williams as well.
Galen, I desire for this to be a phenomenal show, and I'm excited because we have a phenomenal guest here. So yes, I'm Dr. Peter A. James, the high performance coach. And Galen, if the title and our guest is any a clue of what's going to be like today, this morning, I'm all in. I'm all in.
Well, great. That is great. And Miss Ann McNeil, you are the master wealth builder. I think you are the only thing that could get me out of bed this early on a Saturday morning. Well, you and the opportunity to talk about this chapter and this principle. Come on into the conversation and share with everyone just a little bit about who you are.
Yeah, and I think they call it desire. We all have a desire as lifelong learners to help other people have a better quality of life. And that's what I do. My name is Ann McNeil, and I am the Master Wealth Builder, helping you to build a stronger and better life in every area of your life. And I do that by focusing on your desire. And so I'm excited today, Galen, as we've already heard, many of us know Jada. And so we're sitting around the table as our friend Begin has always talked about. And we're just going to have a conversation about this phenomenal principle called desire in the book Think and Grow Rich. So I'm excited.
All right. Well, hey, Jada, I want to bring you into the conversation. We've kind of set the landscape. Everyone knows you already, so hopefully we have laid the groundwork for you to just share your insights about this chapter, about this principle. I'll tell you, I like I said, I met you for the first time physically at the annual meeting in Boca Raton. Was really, really impressed not only with you but with your family, and then I get your bio and I see that you are an alum of Alabama A&M University with your bachelor's degree. And then on top of that, you've got a master's degree from Strayer University. So you don't only talk a good game, you actually know what you're doing. So come on into the conversation. Welcome, and just share a little bit about yourself, your background, what you're working on now, and how in the world did you get involved with this program and with this book?
Well, first off, thank you so much. And good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm so excited to be here sitting at your table. So, like you said, last week was the first time I got to meet you in person. And I so wanted to be at Galen's table, right? And I didn't get assigned there. But guess what? I manifested in my desire today. I get to sit at the table with Galen and all you beautiful people. So I'm just so excited and thank you. But for me, I am, yes, a graduate of Alabama A&M. Go Bulldogs. I love my HBCU pride. And I'm a mother. First, I'm a mother. I am a wife. I am a serial entrepreneur. And I just love sharing my smile, and my purpose or mission is to just be a blessing, in anyone's lives that I touch, and just to be an example that you can live a legacy lifestyle just being you.
Well, fantastic. I'm not going to let you off that easy because not only did you make an impression, but your kids make quite an impression at that annual meeting as well. So tell me just a little bit about how this book has made its way into your family, and how do you see yourself and your family leveraging the desire principles that we talk about in this book?
Well, the book made its way in my life about 6 years ago. I moved from Miami, Florida to move to Central Florida because at that time, I didn't know it yet. I didn't know anything about principles, or there was a book that had all this stuff organized in it, right? So I just knew, I dreamed and had a desire to get into construction, to transition from corporate America into being an entrepreneur. I had these smaller, day-to-day business, but I wanted that big business. And for me, that was construction. So I decided, a bright idea, to tune everything out. I was not finding that teacher, that mentor, the avenues, whatever it was just something missing here. So I decided to uproot my family. They were babies at the time. And we moved to Central Florida. We moved to Lakeland. And my husband, my family thought I was crazy. And where did this come from out of the blue? But out of that move, I moved there, and about 7 months in, I went to a seminar, and there was nobody in this room that I wanted to connect with. But, I still want to be Jada in the room. But I'm like, as soon as this is over, I'm out. And then all of a sudden, there was a little short lady that just came in, walked straight up to the podium, and just with power and just a light, just took over the room. And I won't say who she is, but I'm pretty sure she's at the table right now. Is no other than Ms. Ann McNeil, the master builder herself. And she delivered her message, and then she just left. Like this was the first lady, like the first lady of America. I'm like, we still in Lakeland? This is some Miami stuff. What is going on? So then I didn't want to be rude. I sat there. I had already networked the room, being that I'm sales, right? First one there, last one to leave, peep out the room, scope everything out. So that's what I did. And I'm glad I followed that from training from corporate, because after she left, I don't know where she went, but I was like, I got my message, wrote my notes down, and I got up to leave too. But when I went in the hallway, she wasn't there. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is just magic. At the time, I called it magic. Everything's just magic and a coincidence. I'm like, oh my gosh, where did this little lady go? Oh, darn. So I started getting down. I went into the restroom. And as we were both coming out the stalls at the same time, I dropped my notepad and I was like, ah, it's you. She was just as calm and pleasant, and who she really is to everybody was like, oh, baby, hey, I saw you in there. How are you doing? And I was like, I'm doing good. And I just started to break down to her in the bathroom. Really not break down, but open up and share, because I don't open up so quickly. And that was a surprise there. I opened up to her quickly. She received me, and she was like, I told her what I was doing in Lakeland, Florida. She was like, oh, child, you didn't need to move all the way up here for that. And I'm like, what? You don't know my story. You don't know me. And she was like, I don't have to know you. Take my number and call me. So I took the lady's number and I looked at my paper. I called her, and it's no other than Ann McNeil. And she introduced me to Think and Grow Rich 6 years ago. And ever since then, I've been a student of it. And through that, it has made me focus, because if you know me, I'm very colorful in personality. And I come across sometimes maybe I'm all over the place, but with the introduction of Think and Grow Rich, I can still be all over the place and involved in so many different things. But I have learned through the principles of the introduction of the book that I can focus on one thing at a time. And that will allow me to be successful in all my different endeavors and not sound like I have 32 crayons out of the box at one time. And so with that being the beginning, I studied and I was practicing and reading these things by myself and making these changes in myself and in my household. But then when you start doing your research and studying, it's like charity and community service starts within your house, right? So I can't be doing all this growing or going this way and my family's over here. So in 2020, the beginning of 2020, towards the end of 2019, it was my mission. Okay, I got my businesses a little together. Let me bring this to my family, because you want your family life and your business life to be on point, or, you know, peaceful. And I just started sharing with my kids and my husband.
And your kids were listening after all, right? So
yes, after all. While I'm over here nervous, like they're not paying attention, they're not listening to me. But out of that came the youth IMA mastermind group that was already going on. And I just had the pleasure of being able to just jump in and participate with that, because I do have the two smaller kids. And they just took off, and it has really allowed them to have a community of peers and kids their age. And, you know, everybody wants to be a little older. And the teenagers that are in the room, they can't wait. They think the Malachis and John Smiths are the coolest people in the world. And they're just 20 and 19 years old, college students. But to the 6 and the 7 and the 4-year-olds, they're the hottest thing smoking. So to be able to see my kids just lighten up and be like, okay, my mom's just not telling me all this stuff and, you know, beating me over the head with it. There's other people actually doing the same thing. And that was really exciting to see them, their light bulbs just go off and gravitate.
Well, fantastic. Well, that's a great story. I mean, both stories are fantastic about how you followed your desire just to learn more about not only the construction business, but the logistics business, that kind of thing, but to learn more about this philosophy. And I want to go ahead and bring Ursula in. And Ursula, I know you've got tons of questions, but if you could also just share the 13 principles that really comprise this philosophy, because all of it sits on desire, which is that first principle. And then from there, I'll let you come on into the conversation with Jada.
Thank you, Galen. Yes, desire is a part of a big master plan that includes 13 steps. And we have a wonderful video that we will share with those of you that are watching. And then you can hear if you're on Blog Talk as well. So here's how desire fits into the grand scheme of things. It appears that the sound is not working.
I'll tell you what. Let's just talk through
Yeah.
talk through
Okay.
the principles.
Um, we'll start from the beginning. The first step is desire, as we talked about. And that is the starting point of all achievement. It is the first step. The second step is faith, the visualization and belief in the attainment of desire. Third is autosuggestion, the medium for influencing the subconscious mind. Four, specialized knowledge. It's personal experiences or observation. Imagination is number 5, and it is the workshop of the mind. Number 6, organized planning, the crystallization of desire into action. Number 7 is decision, the mastery of procrastination. Number 8 is persistence, the sustained effort necessary to induce faith. Number 9 is the power of the mastermind, the driving force. And number 10, the mystery of sex transmutation. It is the 6th step of riches, to riches. Number 11, the subconscious mind, the connecting link. And number 12 is the brain, a broadcasting and receiving station for thought. And number 13 is the 6th sense, the door to the temple of wisdom. That's how it all fits. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. You can get that book. We have a link in the chat and on Facebook and anywhere else we are listed. Join us. Oh, so I was stalling to get back to Galen, but then you asked me to join the conversation, didn't you? I'm so sorry. Okay, Jada, you know I love you. So I want to know a little bit more about you. Tell me why this chapter is so important to you. What about desire really resonates with you? What sections do you like best?
The sections I like best, it's such a deep chapter, even though it's the first chapter, being desire. From the beginning, as soon as you open the page, the chapter, when he says, Barnes, when he showed up resembling a tramp, but in his head, he was a king. And it puts me in the mindset of when I used to go out on those calls, Galen and Ursula, to do business development calls or catch a new client for the first time. It is, hey, you need to just have that confidence and that strength to just show up as you are, and then moving forward right now, it's just show up who you are, start where you are. That part just resonates. It's never too late, just start. That's what the first part mentioned to me. And then it's so many different parts that are my favorite. And then the next favorite is the story that they share about the little boy that, he was born with no external ears. He didn't have any ears. And his father, no matter what the doctors told him, his dad, his parents was like, he's going to be able to hear. He's going to have as close to a normal life as possible. And from a young child, from a young age, and this is what motivated me to also bring my family into it and say, hey, I need to be sharing this stuff with my kids. They don't have to wait till they're 30 or 27 like me, So from then, the child didn't know anything. He just knew what his parents was teaching him and instilling in him. And it was, you will hear and you will be able to have a nice, happy, peaceful life, whatever that definition is for you. And they started at a young age with him, instilling those principles and skills. So eventually, a miracle, whatever you may want to call it, like we said in the beginning, I used to call it magic, but it's not magic after you read this chapter 1. He began to be able to eventually hear. And then on top of that, he created a small business. Like, wow, how would you ever would have thought a deaf child, a child that was born like this? Well, I think it happened like a couple of days or something after he was born, but you were actually born like this, and you were able to take the powers and the gifts and the talents and the principles that your parents was teaching you to create a successful life. Like, that's just mind-boggling there for me. And then especially with the family aspect of it. And then the kicker for me, the cherry on top, is I think it's on page 42 in the book, where it says, it's getting towards the end of the chapter. And it's like, just think about the power of desire. Desire can bend Mother Nature. Like, wow, desire can bend Mother Nature. I never thought of that before until I read this book and started implementing these things in my life. And like the story goes, when you are ready, when you have that desire, as Barnes did, just show up and start. And those are my favorite powerhouse tidbits from this chapter.
That's wonderful. There's, when you started out with the child that could not hear, I don't know what you said, but there's something you said that caused me to think something I have not thought before. But we talk about people having the will to live, and those that don't tend to survive in certain situations. And I transferred that to the will to succeed. That's desire. Do you desire it? Do you really want to succeed? And how bad do you want it? And this child wanted to be successful. And his father helped him find that way, So, it's amazing how all of this comes together.
It truly is.
Yeah, I've had a couple of conversations this week with people that they knew that I was involved with this book pretty deep, but they didn't really understand what the concept was about. And as I normally hear, they say, well, Galen, there's more to life than just money, right? And this book seems to be, and this book, from my perspective, at its core is about your mindset. What's your mindset for achieving and attracting that thing that you say is really, really important to you? And when I think of mindset and listening to this conversation, I think about Dr. Peter James. Shift Your Mindset is the name of his company. So I know that this is like hitting dead square center of the plate. So Dr. Peter, come on into the conversation. What do you think about what you've heard so far?
Yeah, great conversation. Jada, thank you so much for sharing your story a little bit and even sharing how you feel about this phenomenal book. It's interesting, Galen. People who who think what you just mentioned there, who say what you just mentioned there, usually have not gone past the title, Think and Grow Rich. They stop there, they don't read, they stop there and they think, hey, life's not all about money. Well, if you read the book a little bit, if you read the text, if you do a deep dive as we're doing, you'll see that it's so much more than money, so much more than wealth. There's the word riches has way more to do than just money. And I don't know about you, but I feel rich in my body. But okay, enough about that. Jada, so excited that you're here. Love everything that you've been saying. I've got a ton of questions. Questions are pouring in on the chat as well. But I got to throw mine out there first because I'm a little selfish. I'm loving your backdrop, which says, do it scared. But before I ask you about that, I want to read something that Napoleon Hill mentions on page 34 of this chapter in Desire. And he says, there is a difference between wishing for a thing and being ready to receive it. He says, you are never ready for a thing until you believe you can acquire it. Let me say that again for everybody who's listening. You are never ready for it unless you believe that you can acquire it. Now, he goes on to say, the state of mind must be belief, not mere hope or wish. Finishes off by saying, open-mindedness, I like to call it growth mindset, is essential for belief. Closed-mindedness or a fixed mindset does not inspire faith, courage, and belief, right? So let's go back to this thing, you're never ready, and then tie that back into your backdrop there, do it scared. First of all, what does do it scared really mean to you, and how might it tie into what I just read a little bit there?
Okay, well, I chose this backdrop today because it focuses, I felt like it ties in the desire of the book. Do it scared basically to me means just do it. You have that desire. God gave you a dream. Whomever you thought gave you that dream, start there. Breathe life into it. Just do it scared. A lot of people come to me and ask me, how do you do these things? What do you do? Half the time, I'm scared. I'm not scared, but I'm a little nervous. I'm a little apprehensive. And if it doesn't make you nervous or put a little fear into you, I don't know. I'm not attracted to it as much there. But doing it scared just really goes back to what, like you said before, Peter, success does not matter. It's not all about the money. And it's whatever your purpose, your desire, your mission is, just go for it. So one of my friends, a fellow alumni from Alabama A&M, he had a platform, you know, we all like to think and grow rich and have our accountability groups and things of that nature. And he asked me to be an advisor on this platform, mentoring new startup business owners. And of course, I was down for the cause because in this group, they wanted Jada and they wanted to know, how do I do it? And all I could do is come in the room and say, I do it scared, just like you do. You know, you just have to step out on faith and believe in yourself, because you cannot have or get other people to believe in you if you don't believe in yourself. Or Galen, like you said, with the sales, I can't go sell you this orange if I'm not confident in the orange, or I like oranges, or I'm good enough to make you feel like I'm in love with oranges. So you just have to believe in yourself. And once you believe in yourself, you're ready. And the atmosphere and the energy will present it for you. Just like when I started with the story about how I met Miss Ann, though it comes across as a little funny and humorous, it took me back when I went back and read the book, and it was like, wow, I really was not ready. The universe and the atmosphere knew I was not ready. I had a newborn child. My husband is an entrepreneur as well. He owns trucks, a truck driver. And this time that self-doubt started entering in. But through the power of reading The Desire and Think and Grow Rich, and then meeting Miss Ann, it's like, that wasn't magic. I was ready. I was finally ready to be able to receive her coaching slash critiquing. We all know when Miss Ann say your name 3 times, hold on, I got to think about what I'm saying here. That Jada, she's the only one that can do that. Yes, if you're watching, Mom, nobody other than you and Miss Ann, because everybody knows I'm a little stubborn. I'm a very persistent, very persistent at what it is. Sometimes I might not, back in the day, I wasn't as consistent. That's the C, consistent. But I've always been a very persistent person, and I've always knew exactly what I wanted. And then with the strength of God, my father and teachings, and then of course, Miss Ann, when I was ready, magically appearing in that bathroom, showed me that I can do this. I just have to believe in myself. So I really hope I answered the question. And sometimes I get a little passionate because this is really my life.
I'd like to add a little humor here. You know, when children are growing up, a lot of times we get labeled, and I'm saying we because I got it, hard-headed. Hard-headed means persistent. You're determined to get what you want and do what you want. And it is the Ann McNeils that help make sure that you're aiming at the right thing.
Yes, not taking too many crayons out at the crayon box at one time.
Well, hey, you know, one of the things that I was thinking about when I was listening to you is this passage on page 28, because it says, "Wishing will not bring riches, but desiring riches with a state of mind that becomes an obsession, then planning definite ways and means to acquire riches and backing those plans up with persistence, which does not recognize failure, will bring riches." And so that, for me, that little passage, those few sentences really encapsulates the entire Think and Grow Rich process and shows how it sits on desire. And desire is not the same as wishing. Desire is, no matter what, to your point, no matter what, I'm going to get to the other side. And just listening to your story and how you've connected with Miss Ann just really kind of reminds me of so many stories I've heard about how other people have gotten connected with Miss Ann. So enough lavishing on Miss Ann. Let's bring her into the conversation. What do you think about Jada and what she shared so far, and how is this consistent with just how this philosophy works for you and for everyone else?
Wow, Jada, thank you so very much for those comments. I think we've all heard that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And that is so very true in each of our lives, but only if you have a desire. And as I listen to you and so many of our guests and our hosts, I often shudder to think, what if I did not have a problem? Mm-hmm. What if I did not have a problem and a desire? Going back to, I want to read something on from actually the first page, and this goes to what you just shared. Burns' desire was not a hope. See, you had a burning desire, and the universe, we'll get to infinite intelligence, drew us together. But Barnes, a lot of people don't realize, Barnes was with Edison for 5 years before the opportunity presented itself for the desire to manifest. We've been together now 5 years, Jada. You are beginning to manifest your desire in the growth that you're experiencing, and is being demonstrated in the growth of your children. And so my question to you is this: how do you feel watching your daughter on that panel with all those other older children during our annual meeting? And then let me just set this up for those of you that are listening for the very first time, we host an annual meeting for your life. This is not a conference. This is your annual meeting for your life. Our focus this year is about the family. And so every single person was asked to bring your life in writing. No, that's the 30th. So you can hold that. You can hold that. This is the 30th. We'll talk about that later. But this event is going to take place at the end of the month. But you can take that off, please, Ms. Harris. I wanna focus on Jada and her response. So you can remove this JPEG, please. You can stop sharing that. Jada, my question to you is this. How did you feel sitting in the audience and listening to your daughter answer off the top? Now, these are not, just want to make sure everybody understands who's listening. This was not pre-programmed. This was not practiced. This is from the top of her mind and from her heart, because she has masterminded, like every adult, every single Saturday for months, walking through the principles of this book, reading the same pages that we read, leading the same mastermind groups that we lead. See, for those of you that are listening, I host as a volunteer for the National Speakers Association, Black NSA, almost 9 years, a mastermind group of accountability, where we walk through a chapter of this book every single week. Every week, we come together and we break out in small groups. And the reason I'm giving that backstory before Jada answers this question is because I teach the children to do the exact same thing as a part of our youth mastermind group that Jada is spearheading for us every Sunday. And so to watch her daughter every single Sunday, along with all the other kids, because there are other kids, we'll talk about them on the 30th, when we go to the end of the show. So how did you feel, Jada, sitting there listening to your daughter, please, if you would share?
Oh my gosh, it was amazing. It was overwhelming. That was probably my first big proud moment as a mom for my child as she's getting a little older in elementary school. It was like, wow, I do have someone special. And I need to make sure that I'm continuing to grow and do the work, because she is special. And all I could do was sit there, and it made me focus on, I need to make sure that I am consistent with the work that I'm doing, with the work that I'm doing in the group, which is an honor to be able to lead and to coordinate with the other ladies. And then I need to be consistent with what I'm doing in my household, with our routines. I need to continue that, because we've been in the mastermind group, I think, Miss Ann, is almost going on a year. It's right at about 9 or 10 months, I think so. And then prior to that, we have been doing it about 2 months or 3 months on our own. So she's coming up on a year. And when I say, wow, you can really see the difference and the changes in a year. And it's just made me so observant of her. And it's helped me to teach her and reiterate. And she's actually genuinely picking up on these principles and strategies herself. And the whole thing is that she is a real powerhouse. And it's like, wow, she's really has owned that is her body, that is her mind, that is her brain, that is her brand. You are a brand at 9 years old. And she's like, wow, I am. So I see her confidence just flourish. And in that moment, I was like, I knew, Winter could speak because she leads the Sunday meetings when the kids take their turns. Yes, all the kids rotate around and they lead and they practice going through the agenda as if it's their meeting, like we're doing here. And but I was not expecting her to get up on the panel with high school students and college students. Like that was it. It was high school and college students. And my little 9-year-old, the smallest one there, and people were coming to, I thought she was 6. I thought she was 5. She was able to speak. And not only did she speak, she spoke from her heart and she articulated every word. And it was like, wow, this is an honor. This is nowhere near work. This is an honor. And I'm truly blessed. And really, you tell the child and children, hey, God uses me as a vessel. I'm going to support you, support you, support you. But in that moment, it was like, wow, God really is using me as a vessel for this special woman that she is going to be one day. And I just need to make sure that I'm putting her in the right environments and being consistent again with the things that we're doing in the home. Which that ended up leading into Miss Ann. She was such on a confidence high after leaving the annual meeting, and she shared with as many people as possible. And when she get there, just a little add in too, all of the kids in the Think and Grow Rich youth group, they're from all over. So you got kids in Chicago, kids in Detroit, Miami, Philly, and she just wanted to go after and meet the most high achieving students that show up in the room, because she wanted to meet them. She wanted to meet everybody, and she flowed that energy back to her own elementary school in Miami Lakes and just shared everything. And then also she's a new student there at the school in Miami Lakes. And she was telling me Monday, the teacher was calling students out one by one, and she didn't know where they were going. They was just going somewhere. And she knew she was calling all the smart people out from her observation or whatever that picture looked like. And she said she just knew she wanted to be a part of it. And I'm smart. And so she said she was sitting there and she said, she asked the question, which goes back to our Sunday meetings every day. Don't sit there and be scared. Winter, you have your voice. And it made me proud again as another example. I didn't have to be there. I didn't have to send a class dojo app text message to the teacher or email. She didn't call me. She handled it there in her seat all on her own. She asked the question, what are you guys doing? Where are you going? Oh, y'all are going to another classroom to play chess? Yes. Oh, I play chess. I want to be a chess master. Wow. The teacher was like, wow, a chess master. Do you even play chess? She's like, yeah, she's another mini me in that area. Like, duh, yes. And then she went in there and they put her against the hardest supposed to be child that has a reputation at the school playing chess. And Winter, from drawing in her energy and her magical powers from the Think and Grow Rich in the annual accountability meeting, because she talks about it every morning still, it gave her the confidence to go in there, and she beat the little boy. She beat them all. And so now she's like, he used to be the chess master at school. I'm the chess master now. So you have to beat me. And I know the rules. But with that, it's not the bragging. Like we said in the beginning, she had to be ready. Her dad plays chess, right? And she said she wanted to be able to play chess with her dad. And like her dad, her goal is to be a chess master. Okay, Winter, mommy's not that great at chess. I can't teach you everything. Like we said in the book, some things you just have to do on your own. If you have that desire, Winter, to play chess, I will give you the apps, the books, the chess boards, and you do what you do. So she comes back to me every other day. Mom, I didn't get a chance to do a lesson. Well, about the last 3 months, Winter has been doing lessons in her chess master lessons and all of her games, and actually reading her chess books. And that's what it is. This group gave her the confidence and the aha that if she needs more knowledge, she can go read it and internally absorb that information for herself. And it was just another magical moment of infinite intelligence, seeing my daughter get in the car and tell about her chess experience. And I had to put on my Ann hat. We say I put on my Miss Ann hat. And in her excitement, I said, now hold up, sweetheart. I'm so proud of you. But do you know what you just did? And I went through the process with her. You had the desire. You put in the work. I didn't tell you not one day to pick up that book and read. Like, it's not my homework. I can't make the A for you. And she took it upon herself to study. She has a cell phone, yes, but she has a cell phone with apps and learning apps on it. And she really spends her time doing her chess lessons. And that work led her up to be able to beat the little, first of all, surprise them and beat them. And just think of the power that had on her life, and just making her realize what she did. And it's just through the principles and strategies of Read and Think and Grow Rich, and reading the whole book, and making it to the end of the chapter, which gave me the confidence and the knowledge to be able to say, hold on, let's slow this down. Unlike mommy at 9, I would have moved on to the next best, greatest thing and not lived in that moment. So it allows me to do things like that, do both sides, to continue to learn as a mom, and then implement different strategies that I'm learning as I'm growing with my own child. And then seeing her have her aha moments and experiences like the panel, and then a backup with the chess game. I was like, oh, this is nowhere near work. This isn't volunteering. It's not volunteering. It is really an honor to be able to work with the kids and then use my life as an example.
I've got to cut in here because, and panelists, co-hosts, pardon me just for a moment.
Take your time, Pastor.
If you're in the audience listening to this, and you've ever had a conversation with me, and you've asked, or you've said, Galen, this is just about money. Life is about more than just money. This conversation, this story that you just heard, that had nothing to do with money, but it had everything to do with desire. And desire is not the same as wishing for something. We all wish for things. We all say we hope we get things. But the story that she just shared, that Jada just shared, this was about a little girl saying, this is the thing that I'm willing to work for because I want the end results. And this philosophy, I wouldn't be as sold out to this if it didn't work, if I hadn't seen it work in my life and the lives of others. This is the most powerful thing that I can suggest to anyone who is serious about doing their life on purpose. So I just had to cut in with that. Ms. Ann, I know you've heard a lot about the impact of the annual meeting that you created. Every year that I go, I get so much out of it that I'm not even expecting to get out of it. I would love for you to just share more about not only the last annual meeting that we just came back from. I think you've got another version that you're going to be putting out so people that couldn't attend can still attend and get the same benefits that we've all enjoyed.
Galen, I got to jump in really quick, Pastor Galen.
My granddaddy coming out now. Come on now.
And Miss Anna, I do, and this may actually tie into the annual meetings. There's a couple of questions coming in on the chat that I would like maybe even Galen or Jada to address, and they have to do with challenges and overcoming in order to reach this desire or reach this your objectives or goal. Eva asked, on the topic of the will to succeed, what wisdom might you have about helping people who have been dealing with the fear of success, not just merely failure, and overcoming this fear? And also, Regina kind of goes into this a little bit and even asks, hey, what is my first step in overcoming challenges of focus, emotions, and other personal issues? So, I love what Jada has mentioned about how she's helped to pour into her daughter, almost the community, the group, the mastermind. But I want to hear from Miss Ann and you all here on the panel. When you're facing challenges like this, maybe even your self-inflicted challenges, self-confidence challenges, what are some ways to overcome them, Pastor and Miss Ann?
Let me jump in real quickly and address what I heard in Eva's question, and then I'll give this to Ann. Because this actually came up in my journaling this week. And I have often said that people have a fear of failure or fear of the responsibility of success. And I actually changed that. I modified that this week. What I believe people fear is I believe people fear really trying and then failing. We all fail. So I don't think anyone's afraid of failing, but I think what people are afraid of is, what if I really, really try and everyone sees me trying and I put everything into it and then I fail? And that's something that, as our guest has said, you just have to do it scared, and you just have to recognize that everyone who are succeeding, everyone who's succeeding right now, none of us know what's going on. None of us have the answer. We're all just taking that first step, and then that second step appears, and then the third step is obvious. But if you're waiting until this thing is clear and the red carpet is laid out, it's never going to happen. It is never ever going to happen. But those are my thoughts. Miss Ann, what are yours?
Well, Peter hit the nail on the head and you drove it through the coffin. In the book, Napoleon Hill tells us it starts with an indecision to do something. A desire you decide not to act on. That indecision creates doubts about my self-confidence and my ability to achieve whatever it is. Those doubts begin to crystallize and harden into fear. That fear is what we all experience, that keeps us from having the self-confidence to achieve whatever it is. So both those questions, that is part A of the response. Now, the solution to the indecision, the doubts, and the fear is found in the book. It's called the Self-Confidence Challenge. And if I had time, or maybe I do. How about this? The self-confidence formula says, first, I know, this is me. You see, this is me, Ann McNeil. I know I have the ability to achieve the object of my definite purpose in life. And my desire is to persistently, consistently perform the task. Whatever it is that you are desiring, it is desiring you. But if you don't have the self-confidence to overcome that which you desire, then you begin to create more and more and more and more fear. Now, I'm sharing this because I too struggle with self-confidence for years. So many years ago, I started memorizing the self-confidence formula. And the more I watched my own self-confidence grow through just writing it every day, I realized that it's a journey from level to level to level to level. So I created, because people kept asking me, what are you doing? How can I do it? And some of you are listening to me now, you know what I'm talking about. And so we created a clarity mastermind group. Of course, it's called the McNeil Factor Clarity Mastermind. And the only thing we do, going back to the two people that asked the question, the only thing we do every single day is work on building our self-confidence by writing the confidence formula, reciting it, listening to it. That's it. And so personally, I've watched my own self-confidence grow because of doing this exercise every single day. And I believe we'll put the link in the chat if you're interested in that, or you can go to Eventbrite, or you can go to my website and get that. But I want to thank you, Jada, and we're talking about your life and what you just demonstrated for us. And Galen, I believe we do need to have Winter on the show.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
If
All
they
right.
can't, if they can't handle
doing their own blog talk, but I think Miss Winter and those of us who are preparing for the show, I do believe that she should be singularly a guest on the show. Now, for those of you that's listening, whether you're listening live or in the chat, can you just let us hear from you? Would you like to hear from Miss Winter Williams? Just put in the chat, yes, I want to hear from Winter Williams. Okay,
if,
okay, everybody, okay, Mel, thank you.
I
Thank
was
you,
gonna say
Eva.
if they can't handle winter's mama, I don't know if they can handle winter.
Thank you, Eva. And Galen, I want to thank you for Eva because you were in Clubhouse and you talked about what we do and who we are. Eva, I don't know if you know this, she was in there. And for those of you that are following us, please join us every Friday morning at 7 a.m. Eastern Time. We host a show. This is on, this is a call. It's just, you get 1 minute, no matter where you are in the world, just come on and tell us what your aha is from the book. So, Galen, you would be honored to know that Eva, after hearing you at Clubhouse, she went online, she registered for the Think and Grow Rich Mastermind Friday call. And she went even further and signed up on Sign Up Genius to host. And she has been our live host for the last 2 Fridays.
Oh my. Oh my.
And so I say this because this book has the power to draw the universe to you, but only if you have a desire for something greater. It could be money, it does not have to be money. So now let me go to the question that you asked me. Peter, any other questions before I start wrapping up to share about the 30th?
No, please go ahead there. And the love for winter is pouring through the chat. So
Thank you.
I think they're ready. I think they're ready.
Well, I want to thank, first of all, Jada. I share your feelings. I have 2 daughters, and my first daughter is, I call her the queen of Toastmasters, and she's what we call Malachi Monroe's mother. And I'm saying this to set this up. My second daughter, at 9 years old, was a little winter. And it took an event like our annual meeting for me to watch her in a national investment organization stand up and do exactly what your baby did and answer questions at the age of 9, because she had been in the book for 3 years by the age of 9. And you can Google her, the baby billionaire. That's Ione McNeil. Now I'm saying this because we're focusing on the family. So many of you had a desire to attend the annual meeting for your life and was not able to because of COVID or whatever the reason. Therefore, we're hosting on the 30th of this month, and I'd like to hear from all of you in the chat. If you're interested, we'll follow up with you. So if you're listening live on Facebook, let us hear from you on Facebook Live. Or if you hear this show later, just put in the comments to let us know, I'm interested in attending this annual meeting for my life. Now, I want to make sure everybody understands this is not a conference. It's going to be on the 30th of January, 2021, from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m., virtually on Zoom. If you have already registered and paid your $179, you're already set. Just go, we'll send you a link, and you do not have to pay again. Your registration set. If you were not able to register, but you had a desire to participate, you can go to the link that we're providing. It's on Eventbrite also, the McNeil Factor annual meeting for your life, and you can register. Now, this is why you should register. This is about your life. Where do you go to hold yourself accountable, whether it's a resolution, whether it's a mission, whether it's a vision, whether it's a goal? But think about this in every area of your life, all 10 areas. We help you focus through our process. We help you focus on your spiritual, your family, your financial, your education, your health, your health, your personal development, your business, or it may be your career, your civic, your recreation, and your creativity area of your life. Now, you can stop sharing because we are seeing something that's not the JPEG. So you can just stop that sharing, please. Thank you. So, and I just want to say that because the benefits of coming is what you hear from Jada, from her family, from all of our family. Galen, he often talks about the fact that when he came in person last time, the very first time, he couldn't get to the room until he turned his report in. So he, so he, listen, Galen, you can tell your own story about that. But my point is this: I just believe so strongly that I could not find a place to be accountable. And along with some friends, we created a place of accountability for your life. This is not about my business. This is not about my going to church. This is not about just all of my civic organizations that I'm involved in. This is a place that I am able to go with my family to be held accountable for the goals I set. That's what Jada said. When Jada saw her daughter putting a fire up underneath her, she had to step it up. So often we go to work, leaving our families, working for the family, but we don't have time for the family. And so I don't want to go on and on because we will talk about this for the next couple of weeks, but I would encourage all of you, register your family, register your friends, do the work. We will have meetings leading up to the meeting to make sure you prepare before you come. So Galen and everybody, the same thing we did for the in-person face-to-face meeting with the preparation leading up, because I believe that the work is not just showing up that day. The work is the journey to get to that day. And I also believe that everything that you write, that you're planning on doing, even if you never look at it again, the universe has a way of drawing to you your desire. So Galen, I could talk about this subject forever. I won't, but I'm so passionate and listening to Jada, but not just listening to Jada. We live with her daughter every Sunday, masterminding with the other kids. And when we open the meeting with prayer, and if the older kids take too long, I'll pray, right, Jada? And if nobody wants to volunteer to host a meeting,
I have to remind her it's not her show.
but we've watched all of the children grow, and that's what's so powerful. We've watched them grow and raise their backs, and really we've watched their self-confidence. And so I am just so excited because I've lived this now for over 40 years. And so I'm just excited. I'm excited for this, and I'll wrap up. What if I did not have a problem? What if I was not so broke and broken when I picked up this book at 9 p.m., December 31st, 1979? What if I'd quit? Now, this is not about me. I'm talking to you, one of you. I'm talking to one of you because you have a problem and you want somebody else to solve it for you. And the world will only hear your voice. Only you. Only you can give that dream life. And so with that, I'm just excited. Back to you, Galen.
So, Ms. Ann, how can people get a hold of you if they want to connect with you directly? Because this has been a great, great conversation. I think people are getting a sense as to why we are all so committed to this process so early on a Saturday morning.
Galen, they can text me, text Ann, A-N-N, text Ann, A-N-N, at 55678. And that number again, text Ann at 55678. I'd love to have you also subscribe to my YouTube. That's Ann McNeil on YouTube. And you can also go to my website at annmcneil.com. Thanks.
Fantastic. Dr. Peter, what are some key ahas that you've gotten from this conversation? Give me just your top ones, because I know you probably have like 4 or 5 pages of notes. And then how can people get a hold of you if they want to connect with you directly?
Yeah, and thank you so much there. We'll put all our contact information in the chat. Thank you, Ms. Ann, for sharing that as well. But Galen, my ahas, the biggest thing that I think I wrote down here, especially as it relates to Jada, whenever she had a challenge, whenever she was scared of something, whenever there was a little bit of fear, she went at it. And what I heard from her is that, fear is going to exist. You can either let fear manifest itself or jump in there head first. I always make the analogy really quick of the diving board, the kid on the diving board who has the floaties on, and everybody's telling him to jump in the water, but he doesn't. And we've all been there, right? Because we thought the water was too cold, or a whole lot of different feelings. But when we jump in, it gets warm really quick. And we always say to ourselves, why, what took me so long to get in? So now I'm asking everyone here, a la Jada here, what's taking you so long to jump in? Galen, again, my name is Dr. Peter James. I am the high performance coach. You can find me on any social media platform at Dr. Peter A. James, encouraging you all to shift your mindset.
Well, terrific. And Ms. Ursula Odom, what do you think about Ms. Jada, and how can people get a hold of you?
Well, I think the world of Miss Jada and now Winter. And you've done something right when other people are talking about your child. Or in the chat, someone said they were in the meeting and actually asked someone at the table, whose child is that? So that, I know, is just, like you say, a moment to cherish. And I'm all about those kinds of moments because I analyze, capture, and preserve those generational wisdom moments like that go from one generation to another, such that they can be shared like this in the form of books, legacy walls, live performances. That's what we do at Sula 2. We make old new in everything we do. And those old stories, because I know one about you that I heard relative to your father, and I hear it coming through this conversation. You've taken Anne, you've taken your father, and now you pass it on to your daughter. That's good stuff.
Thank you. Thank you.
How can people get a hold of you, Ursula?
Oh, I'm just talking about Jada right now. And that's rare, because I will tell you Sula2.com any old day. And you can go to YouTube and search for Sula space 2, and you'll come across a lot of wit and wisdom and interviews that I have of wisdom and young legends, and just legendary stories like the one you've heard today. Sula2.com.
Well, fantastic. Well, speaking of legendary stories, Jada, this has been a legendary show. Thank you so much. What are your final thoughts for the audience, and how can people get a hold of you if they would like for you to help them kiss their logistical problems goodbye, or any other problems that they might have?
Yes, thank you, Galen. For me, my biggest ahas from today is thank you for giving me the space to be able to realize even more my daughter and the work that we're doing with the youth IMA group masterminders is really awesome. But for me, it would be, I think the last question was asked, what do you do when you're in fear or scared? I know Ms. Ann mentioned the self-confidence formula, which is great. We do that as well. But for me and my family, and this spills over, we do mastermind with not only my household, but my sister-in-law, my nephew. So I want to thank them for joining our family mastermind group and going along with it. They've had tremendous growth as well. And my nephew was a part of that panel, one of the high schoolers. But for us, when we're faced with fear, if you're ever faced with fear, you haven't got that self-confidence formula down yet, on page 28 and desire chapter, affirmations. I used to write sticky notes and post them all around my mirrors and everywhere, right? But until I started reading Think and Grow Rich, the desire fact chapter, it actually took all those sticky notes and put it in one through affirmations. So know what it is that you want, know what you're going to give to get what you want, write a plan for what you're going to do keep working that plan. Read it, write it, say it every day. And that's what I do. And that's what I have taught Winter and Garion to do, my son.
Well,
And you can reach me at it's Kis Ls Inc. My phone number, text me anytime at 786-702-1005. Again, text me 786-702-1005, or you could just email me. We're at that age, I always have my cell phone in my hand. My email address is info@KISLS.com. And then you can find me on all the different social media platforms. And again, it's been a great pleasure.
Well, do yourself a favor. If you're listening to this live or on replay, do yourself a favor and reach out to Jada. She has just been a powerhouse. My conversations with her were just amazing. And then to see her child on stage, I was like, oh my gosh, that's one of the biggest ahas for me, is that this is not just a philosophy for people once you get to my age or older, or in your 30s or in your 40s. This is a philosophy or a system for how to do life on purpose. Any of us can have success on accident, right? You can go into a gas station and get a lottery ticket and scratch off the numbers and get some money on accident, right? That's not what we're talking about. This is about, how do you achieve those things that you say that you want on purpose? There is a process for this. There are principles to this. And you can either try to do it without using the principles, and again, you might get lucky, or you can learn the principles and do this thing on purpose. If you are a parent, or if you've got little ones in your life, there is no greater gift that you can give than to show them and share with them those principles. My name is Galen Bingham. I'm the leadership strategist, and I'm actually leading, launching another mastermind masterclass. You can find that, and we're going to put the links there in the chat. You can find it by going on Eventbrite and searching for GB Inspired Mastermind. And we're going to be launching that on January the 25th. There's still time to get in. I'm capping the enrollment at 12 people only, and I'm already halfway sold out, but we're capping it at 12 people only so that we can absolutely make sure people understand the principles, and that we can actively invest in each other against specific goals that they have. So at the end of that 10-week period, it's not just I understand the principles, I've actually executed against a financial goal that I've set for myself at the beginning of this principle. So definitely check that out. I am just really excited about this conversation every week. This one really reminds me of a quote. I've always got quotes at the ready, but this quote is from someone who's on my invisible board of directors. He's actually the incoming chairman of the board of the Galen Bingham Invisible Board of Directors. And this is none other than Bruce Lee, who's also a student of Napoleon Hill. And he says, if you always put limits on everything you do, physical or anything else, it will spread into your work and into your life. There are no limits. There are only plateaus, and you must not stay there. You must go beyond them. And so I'm going to challenge you to really think about those things that you've been seeing as limits in your life. And I want you to really question whether or not they are actual limits, or if they are just fears that you've constructed a platform, and you've built walls, and you've reinforced as fears, and you've made them real. Because as Bruce Lee says, there are no limits. And with that, until next time, I want to encourage you to put a pin in your calendar to join us every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time at the same place as we walk through the book and the philosophy of Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Until next time, take care.